Hi, Penguin.
Yeah.
Hi.
Good to see you.
B. I forgot his name.
You don't need to remember my dog's
Brady.
name. Oh, you got it.
He ran away. He called his name. I called his name. He's like, oh, that's me. Awesome. Good to see you both. You got blocks and a strap today and bolster everything. Perfect. All right, we'll get started in 1 minute. And there's Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, great. Do you have a strap? Or did I just see a strap in your hand?
I can. I don't have one right
Okay.
here, but I'll get one.
We
Sure.
may have one. We may need one today. And blocks, bolster, blanket, the usual.
Okay.
All right, great.
Sounds good.
We'll start in a moment. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining our beautiful yin yoga class on a beautiful day. Because I know it's hard to pull away from the outside to come inside when it's so nice. So I appreciate that. We'll have a beautiful inward practice where we get to be with our bodies, let go of the world, calm down, comfort, soothe, whatever we need to do. It will happen on our mat today. So we're gonna get the props to the side and we will do a practice today for shoulders, hips, and rib cage. So we'll address all these important body parts. So we wanna start in laying on the belly, kind of a belly shavasana, but we'll have our left knee out to the side. So you can have your blanket at this point under your forehead. So right leg is long, and left knee just hangs out to the side, opening up that hip, groin area, lymphatic system, spleen meridian. So we'll get right to it, right into our hips now. In yin yoga, we get to really be present in our bodies, with our bodies, and we get to communicate with all the body parts. Some of them may be screaming, some of them may be hiding, some of them may be yelling at you. Whatever their communication may be, just know that it's the right type of communication in this moment. Because we know how we abuse certain body parts because of our work positions or repetitive movements we may do. So we are trying to realign the body here to open up the space, to create freedom of movement, to allow the body to reset, to come back to natural state. But it takes a lot of practice and a lot of patience and understanding and non-judgment along the way. So be kind and gentle. And just know that what you are is what you need to be. And as we sit here, or lay down rather, we can connect with our intention for our practice today. We can call it a sankalpa, an intention, or a dedication. Intention may be to fully restore the body, mind, emotions, and spirit to the most healthy, natural state. So you can keep this as a mantra for your practice. I intend to fully restore the body, mind, spirit, and emotions in this practice today. I recognize that my body knows what perfect balance is, and you will seek that balance throughout my practice today. How's the volume of music in the classroom, guys? Good, okay, good. I want to make sure you can hear me. Wonderful. So now let's work a little bit in the ankles. You want to flex the foot to the best that you can and just get some intention in the back of the leg, the Achilles tendon and the calf. Stretch the toes towards you. And we'll take a few more breaths here. And if your head rests comfortably on the blanket or on your right hand, you can bring the left hand rotating back and bring it at your low back, across your low back. So this will open up our left shoulder. And let's go ahead and release the arm first. And then extend the left leg by the right leg. I'll lift the chest a little bit, just right here, pressing the hips down to make sure we realign the hips. And as you exhale, drop the head on your forearms and open that right knee out to the side. So your left side is fully resting on the ground, especially you feel that hip crest pressing into the earth, getting that deep connection and support. And we're allowing the right side, the groin, the lymphatic system in the groin, the spleen meridian inside of the leg, all of those areas to be activated, opened, and come back to natural flow of energy, of circulation. So the three main principles of Yin Yoga are to find a comfortable pose where we want to be sitting intentionally for a few minutes. Then we find the breath, connecting deeply with our breath's energy. We find stillness. And then we allow the time to take effect. The lapse of time has a major impact on our pose because we allow the pose to be still and steady for a long time. It's opposite of moving. This is a static release. And it goes deeper than the other kind of poses we may do in yoga. And that is the beauty of the yin practice, because it gets past the muscles into the deeper tissues, the tendons, the cartilages, the bones, the bone marrow. So you feel it deep inside of you, which has a deeper effect, of course. And now start to flex that foot, engaging the back of the leg through the Achilles tendon. Toes come in towards you. And if you so desire, bring that right arm around and back at the base of your low back. All right, now slowly and gently, let's release the pose, releasing the arm first. And then coming back to the knees. So we're going to continue with heart melting pose. We may even get our blanket in front of the chest here. Drop the elbows on that blanket. So we're starting in poppy pose with the hips high over the knees. Then we're going to start to drop the chest towards the floor. We're allowing the belly to drop, the rib cage to sink. And as we walk the elbows forward a bit more, maybe our forehead touches the blanket. If not, we may need a block on the blanket as well. So you want to have some support there with your head dropping onto something. So let those hips be high, but let everything else sink and drop and droop towards the floor. It's also called heart melting pose. We're melting our heart into the ground. This opens up the front of the body through the rib cage all the way into the heart. And it brings the shoulder blades closer together, dropping the upper part of the chest towards the floor. And we're going to explore creating that curious puppy pose when you see your puppy dropping his chin to the floor and looking at you like, I don't know what happened here. So you can create that puppy pose if you like. So the chin to the blanket may be a little bit more of a challenge. So if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. This will at first stretch the front of the neck, thyroid, parathyroid glands, almost into the thymus gland, and you will open the front of the neck, the cervical vertebrae at the frontal end. And of course, it compresses the back of the neck, so creating an opposing effect. And this will help the upper part of the chest drop even more, squeezing the shoulder blades even further. But see what feels right for you, what feels comfortable enough, right on the edge between comfort and discomfort. This also has the ability to undo that forward bend of the spine below the cervical vertebrae in the upper part of the thoracic, where you usually can create a downward curve there because of postural stances we need to have as we work. And this brings the opposite effect. So you'll open the up, creating the curve the other way, bringing things in alignment. But do what you can here. Your shoulders will feel the deep stretch as well. The pectoralis are going to be involved. The axilla as well. All right, we will slowly transition to a full child's pose to kind of rest after this more intense pose. So stretch your hips back, knees are open to the side, and lay your forehead on the ground as you bring your arms back to recover. So take 3 meaningful deep breaths here, centering into each breath, reconnecting, recollecting, body, mind, and spirit. Bring them all together to create that yoga, that connection, that unity. All right, let's slowly bring the hands back towards the front and lift up. We will continue with a mermaid pose. So we'll sit onto the right glutes and knees are staggered in front of you and feet are staggered as well. So here, if this is too much, we can have a blanket underneath the right side. We need some support, some lift here. Okay. All right, now right hand is gonna go up. Inhale, lengthen first. And left hand can go to right knee, pressing this knee down as we stretch and open, reaching towards the left side. So allow the hip to be aligned with the rib cage and the shoulder, and then you drop to the side. Here we create space on the side body between the hip crest and the rib cage. And then the rib cage expand, we expand the lung capacity on the right side, where we have 3 big lobes. Then we open the axillary area for good lymphatic flow. And then we also work on the meridians of the arm, which are the lung and the heart. Lung on the outside, heart on the inside. So it's a very complex pose we are creating here. So you may get a little heavy after a bit. Then just back off a bit or relax your arm. And you can always bring it down a bit, do a rotation to release anything that may grab your attention. And then join again for a little bit more. So you can get it down in little sequences just to make it happen, because it can be a little bit intense. And this one, we're not gonna hold super long, but we still gotta hold it a little bit more. The gravity helps you here. It kind of pulls you down, trying to get us into 0 gravity, but it's not quite even, so we're not gonna reach 0 gravity. That's why it feels a little bit intense. Two more breaths. Inhale now, bring the arm up, and exhale, bring it down. Okay, let's slowly kind of get into the body and see if we need to move anything before we switch position. We will come sitting on the left side with the knees and feet to the right. All right, sit up as tall as you can. Use the blanket for support if you need to. And then inhale, bring the left arm up, lengthen first. Exhale, right hand to left knee, stretching up. And then let the gravity pull you over. And making sure you have that hip and shoulder aligned. And let this energy flow into your side body. And here on the left side, we have only 2 lobes of the lungs. So we need to breathe a little deeper to accommodate, because we have the heart in this area as well. So there's room for the heart. Breathe into the side of the heart. Slowing down the breath, inhaling fully. And hold the breath, create some space. And then exhale, longer exhalation. So maybe you can do a count. You can inhale for 4, pause for 4, and exhale for 6. This will bring a lot more energy into the body, and we'll also release more stagnant energy. Three more cycles of that 4, 4, 6 breath rhythm. We'll be done. Just know that you are creating space. You're opening up the body. You're letting go of negative emotions. stagnant, stale energy of the past. Opening up our body so we can experience life through all our body pores. All right, slowly and gently inhale back up and exhale, release. Okay, we'll do one more and then we have a little bit of a pause to process everything. So let's open up for Malasana or frog pose. If you can do frog pose, I'll demonstrate that first. Knees are out to the side and then feet further than the knees. So our legs are gonna look like a frog. Then bring your blanket in front if you have floor in front of you and just lay down on the blanket, maybe just with the elbows, maybe with your forehead, depending on how much the hips are opening. If frog pose, it's not your option today, then you can do Malasana where you sit on your heels, sit down with your hands in front. So this is another version. So opening the hips in this position needs to be done on a regular basis. But if we ride horses, that's a great way to do it, but we don't do that much anymore these days. So we just get to do the frog pose instead. And if you ride a bike or a motorcycle, you get a little bit of a straddle, and that's a good thing. But here you get to open even more. And bring your attention to the area that is more intense right now. And take those deep connected breaths into that area and also your mind intention for opening, for transformation, for healing, for whatever you need for that area to be and become. Because the mind does control the body and it does control how we feel. We create our own universe by our own thoughts. We can get a chance here to train the mind to believe into something different. And then we let the body do what it's doing and we bring our attention to the third eye point between the eyebrows, which is touching the ground right now. And we connect with that higher self, with that inner intuition and inspiration. Connecting with a higher mind where we can create and see things as we want them to be, as we want them to become and evolve in our lives. So create an image of your body being totally healthy, vibrant, alive, energized, totally comfortable, in a state of perfect balance. And as we create that image, we believe it, we see it, we accept it, and that will become our reality. Because we know that is true, because we sometimes experience with the opposite effect of that, where we believe in disease, in discomfort, in pain, and the more we do that, the more strong a hold it gets on us. So we need to switch it around and bring the opposite effect, because the brain doesn't care what it believes. It only believes what you tell it. So tell it great things. And if your mind goes astray, bring your sankalpa, your intention, your mantra back into the mind. You repeat it to yourself. I am restoring the balance of my body, mind, and spirit. And I am healing my emotions. I am releasing what doesn't serve me. All right, slowly and gently we'll come out of the pose, bringing the feet closer first. And then we'll rise back up. And a small Shavasana is required here, just to let the body rebound. We've done some intense poses, and we need a little bit of a break now. So lay down. And let the body recover here. Establishing the flow through the meridians in the new upgraded way. Breathe into the belly, those long baby belly breaths. Notice the energy flowing through your feet, ankles, knees, and hips. Up into the pelvis, lower area of the belly, upper, the rib cage, diaphragm, all throughout your chest cavity. Flowing down the arms, up the neck, into the head. All right. Now we will get our block and we'll place it under the tailbone. We have our hips lifted a bit. We'll bring the left leg up and grab it into the hands to create a half happy baby. And the right leg is gonna just drop with a gravity towards the floor. If this rise of the hips is too much, you can also choose to explore without the block. It still has a good effect. You're just not gonna have that much gravity on the right side, but it's still gonna be great. So see where you wanna explore today. Good. So holding this knee towards the outside of the rib cage, it's gonna create this hip pull, diagonal hip pull. So you're gonna feel one closing, one opening greatly. So it has a great effect mostly on the right hip, in the front, in the hip flexor, psoas, and quadriceps. So it's opening our hip on the right side to a very great extent. We also know to back off and come to the floor if it's too high of a pose here. Let's take our breaths and send them wherever we feel more intensity, more heat, more sensation. In yin yoga, you do want to feel a sensation, but don't make it too sensational. Great. Good job. And if you really cannot reach the foot, that's okay. You can reach behind your calf or right below your knee. You still have an option to hold that leg in position, or you can even use your strap around your foot. Continue to connect with those breaths, knowing that each exhalation releases that tension, that tightness, that contraction in the front of that right hip. Those quadriceps fibers can get really tense, really tight. So now they may feel like they're ripping apart. And just be gentle, back off a bit if it's too intense. But it is a great pose. It just takes a little time to get used to. So go into it with ease and back off if you need to. Massage the area if you need to. Readjust as well if you need to. This is a very important pose, so we'll try and hold a little bit longer. It takes a lot of time to open up the front of the hip. It's very tense, very tight, very compressed for our 90-degree posture that we sit. right, slowly and gently, let's release this side. Realign the hips on that block. And this time we're gonna bring the right knee to the chest and foot up and let the left leg open up. Good. So grab a hold behind the knee to begin with, and maybe with time you can walk up your calf, and maybe you get to your foot eventually. It doesn't matter, just that left side matters mostly right now. How you can open up by the pull of gravity. And we have 5 minutes here. Take your time, breathe. Let that blood flow back into this area. Let those tendons, muscles, cartilages lengthen, open, breathe and expand, bring in aliveness into the hip crest, into the hip flexors rather. Activating all the way through the quadriceps to the knee and up into the psoas. Good. This will bring the sprint back in your feet over time. You may feel really heavy at first when we get done, but you'll open up a lot of meridian flow. Because our legs get sluggish because of gravity and because of poor circulation. So we get to reverse that with this pose. And do this pose a lot until you feel no more resistance in this area of the hip flexors. And let's slowly release that. And we'll get a block out. And lengthen the legs. And inhale, arms up overhead. Take a long, deep stretch. Let the body be energized. And now inhale, arms up towards the ceiling. Energize here through the fingertips. Get this energy from above to flow into your fingertips, into your wrist, elbows, and shoulders. Receiving this energy. Charging up. Imagine you're plugged into the sky, into the power above. You're gonna feel your fingertips charging up, tingling with energy. And now using this energy, we're gonna heat it up a little bit more. Press your hands together and rub, warming up this energy. And now bring it right to your hip flexors and circle around your hip bone. Good. And now we'll transition on to last pose before Shavasana. So we're gonna be leaning onto the floor on our right side. And press into the left hand and slide your right arm behind you. And then bring your cheek to the floor or to your blanket. And chin is slightly tucked in. So we have the knees slightly bent. We feel the pose here into the right arm, and then we can add to open the left hip by stepping the left foot behind the right leg. Okay. And if that doesn't want to step, that's fine. You can just keep it a little bit back and just let it open, or you can even put a block under that back foot to help you out. So the right arm is a shoulder height. It's not above the head. It's right behind you. Great. Jane, let me put the bolster under this foot for you. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Let that palm extend, pressing into the floor, just feeling that energy circulating there. Now make sure your neck is comfortable, your chin is tucked in. Use any props you need here. That's good. And then if you want to add more, but you don't have to, bring that left arm around to the waist in the back. If that is too much, don't add that one today. It's okay. So as you can feel here, this pose gets the shoulder, the rib cage, and the hip all at once. So it is quite advanced or involved, but we can make it what we want as well, but it does address all three areas. So breathe here, find your point where you can feel comfortable. All right, we're gonna release that side. Press into the left hand and lift and turn to the left. So we'll slide the left arm behind us, chin towards the chest. Behind the left and the bolster or block. On one side, it's going to feel more contracted, more challenged than the other. So just be kinder, be gentler on the one side where it's more responsive right now. Gradually open and you may also need to allow more time on that one side. Okay. Whenever you want to, and only if you choose to, bring the right arm up and around the waist. All right, slowly let's undo the pose, release the back arm, bring it, press it into the floor, bring the knees back in, and we'll turn around for the last pose on our back, but we will support our ankles on a block, and we can also support the legs and the feet from splaying apart by tying a rope around them. So if you have a tie or a strap, you can choose to tie your ankles. That way your feet and legs are totally comfortable. You don't have to worry about them moving. You want to have them nice and still. And then we can lay down on the bolster behind our back if you choose to be in a supported fish pose. You can press your small bolster against your back. And then let the chest open. Blanket is optional on top of you. Yeah, so tie those ankles. It's gonna feel really good. You don't have to worry about the legs. All right. So your hips are resting on the floor, your legs are elevated, your chest is open, and you really experience this freedom with almost no gravity here. So let your body be floating in zero gravity. Like you are floating on clouds. Everything is so light, so restful. Mind is serene, body is comfortable. And you bring back your sankalpa, your intention. My practice fully restores my body, mind, and spirit. I am grateful for all my body parts, all the systems, all the organs, all the hormones that the body releases in the right time, in the right amount, in the right place. I am grateful for my ability to control my emotions, to know what to release, to know what to hold, to know how to balance. Yin and yang is perfectly balanced in my body right now. Enough quiet space and enough energy space. As I go to sleep tonight, my melatonin will be released from the pineal gland so I can sleep and get full rest. In the morning when I wake up, I know that the pineal gland will release a good amount of serotonin for the waking state. And I'm totally grateful for my body as it is right here, right now. Knowing that it always seeks perfect balance. And knowing that I can always help it get there. Slowly and gently start to reawaken the body. Stretch your arms up overhead, lengthen, energize. Exhale, bring the knees towards the chest. Untie your belt if you have them tied. And come to the side. Slowly and gently transition back up. All right. Let's sit up tall. Take a deep breath. Open the arms to the side. Great. Get some good energy. Exhale. Bring it into your body, giving yourselves a hug. Inhale again. Open, open, big. And exhale, other arm on top. Get another big hug from me to you. And release. Palms come together. Bowing to the truth and the light in each and every one of us. Namaste. Right. How do I feel? Exhausted? A little bit. But good. Yeah, I know. It feels good. Nap later tonight. It's too close to evening, right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy and Brady.
Well,
So
I'll
good
see
to
you
have you. You snuck out. Oh, Michelle. Oh, yeah, that's you.
Thank you
Michelle
very much.
says good night. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye.